Hey there, fourth graders. This is page 235 in your math journal. We're just going to do some review today. We're going to talk about multiplying unit fractions again, and then multiplying fractions times whole numbers. So in this one, we're going to not worry about A and C. We're just going to do B and D. They want you to write this as a multiplication or multiples of their unit fractions and a whole number. So, when you write the unit fraction, the denominator of your unit fraction is always going to be the same denominator as you had in the fraction here. It's going to be 10. And the numerator in any unit fraction is always, always, always 1. So then what you need to think is, how many times would you have to count by 1/10, or what would you need to multiply 1/10 by to get 8/10? And the answer is 8. So if you just wrote 8 in there, I would be okay with that. But also we've talked about putting it over 1. Either one is acceptable in this case. I wouldn't mark it wrong for either one. On this one, why don't you try letter D on your own, figure out what the unit fraction for 9/8 would be. Hit pause, and when you think you got it, hit play, and then I'll go through it. Okay, so the unit fraction here, again, your denominator is always going to be the same as the denominator in the fraction you're working with. And the numerator in every unit fraction is 1. Then all you need to do is figure out how many eighths you'd need to make 9/8. And the answer there is 9 or 9/1. Either one is acceptable. Really super easy. Moving on to problem 7. If you look at this, all they're asking you to do is to write the unit fraction for 7/8. Again, the denominator, always the same, so we're going to have eighths. And the numerator in every single unit fraction is 1. Why don't you give C and D a try on your own? Hit pause when you think you have the answers for that. Go ahead and hit play, and then we'll work through them together. Again, the denominator for every unit fraction is the same as the denominator that you're working with. So it's going to be a 2 here. See how they're the same? And the numerator, as I've already said, is always a 1. So down here, what would your denominator be? Fourths. And your numerator is 1. Always 1. So let's take a look at number 8. This is an actual problem that we're going to have to do some math on. Jessica made 3 pitchers of lemonade. Each pitcher holds 1/4 gallon. How many gallons of lemonade did she make? Multiplication, number model with unknown. Our fraction is 1/4. And we need to multiply that by 3. Okay, I'm not just going to write 3. I'm going to write 3/1 because that makes it easier for me to multiply. Our unknown, they want to know gallons, so I might just make it a G. And when we actually go ahead and solve this, 1 times 3 is 3, because we just multiply the numerators, multiply the denominator. 4 times 1 is 4, so your answer should be 3/4. If you want to give this a try on your own, that's awesome. I think it's actually going to be pretty easy for you. It's just 6 times 1/5. And you're going to end up with an improper fraction. Don't forget to divide that, because if you divide that, it'll bring it back to a mixed number. Alright, so now we're going to go on to 239. This was your math from yesterday. It's the one page we didn't do. It's 239, I believe. 239 is where you should be. It says, Maria walks the same distance every meeting. Find out how far she will walk after 7 meetings. We've got to go back to 238 to figure that out. That Maria walks 4/3 of a mile. So this one, I'm going to make see if it'll fit with just a tish bigger. So Maria, she walks 4/3 of a mile. And that's every meeting. So if it was 7 meetings and we're writing a multiplication equation for this, it would be 4/3 times, I'm going to put 7/1, like that. And it doesn't say that we need an unknown. If you wanted to do an unknown, it could be m for miles. And I don't think I'm going to actually do an unknown there. I think I'm going to actually write this out. So the first thing you need to do is multiply your numerators. 4 times 7 is, think about that. If you want to pause this and do the work and then come back and check if you got the right fraction over here, that would be awesome. Go ahead and play. Go ahead and hit play when you're ready. 4 times 7, you should have gotten 3, 2, 1, 28. And 3 times 1 is 3. Can we leave it that way? No, we shouldn't. You could, but you shouldn't. So that's where you need to divide. 28 divided by 3. And I know that I can't do 10, because 3 times 10 would be 30, and that's too much. But 28 is really close to that. So using some common sense, you might use 9. Because 3 times 9 is 27, and then subtract. 8 minus 7 is 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. When your remainder is smaller than your divisor, you are done. Your answer here should have been 9 1/3, because we want to report this as a fraction. So your answer is 9 1/3. Hopefully you're getting a little better at these C, or for letter C's here, between what two numbers does this answer lie. And I'm going to have you give that a try on your own. Go ahead and hit pause, and when you're ready to have your answer, you've written your answer down, then hit play. Okay, the first number is always the whole number that you have, because it's bigger than 9. The second number is just one number bigger. It's bigger than 9, but it's smaller than 10. It's as easy as I can make it. Next one says, if at every meeting they walk the distance shown in the table, who walks the greater distance? Mapara after 6 meetings, or Nikhil after 4 meetings? So, I'm going to erase this. So this one we got to figure out 2 different problems. We've got to figure out Mapara after 6 and Nikhil after 4. So we look back. I've got Mapara, hopefully I'm saying that right, going 9/10 of a mile, and I've got Nikhil going 1 1/4 mile. So the first thing we have to do is we have to multiply both of these. And we've never had to do anything quite like this, so I'm gonna work you through that. But the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to do Mapara, which is just 9/10 times 6 over 1. So go ahead and try that one on your own. Nine times 6, if you forget about the 9 and think once 1 less than 6, that's your 10s. 1 less than 6 is 5. Your 1's place plus your 10's place should add up to 9. So 5 plus what is 9? 4. And 10 times 1 is 10. So Mapara walks 54/10 of a mile. Well, we're going to leave it like that for just right now, because now I'm going to show you about Nikhil. The problem with Nikhil is that we have a mixed number times a whole number. And that's something that we haven't done yet. So I'm going to show you how to make this back into an improper fraction, so that we end up having something over 4 times 4 over 1. But I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to change this so we have an improper fraction. Here's how you do it. You take your whole number and multiply it by 4 times the denominator. So we go 1 times 4. 1 times 4 is 3, 2, 1, 4. So 1 times 4 is 4. Then add your numerator. 4 plus 1 is 5. 1 1/4 is the same as 5/4. Then you need to just multiply like normal. Go ahead and do that. And what you should get is 20/4. Now here's the thing. It's really hard to know what's more. This is why I say you can't just leave them as improper fractions. I don't know what's more, 54/10 or 20/4. There's only one way to find that out, and that's to do our division that we've talked about before. So, over here we need to do 20 divided by 4. And over here, we need to do 54 divided by 10. If you want to hit pause and do that division on your own, then hit play when you have the answers. If we're doing 54 divided by 10, I know that I can do 5, because 5 times 10 is 50. Then I subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4, 5 minus 5 is 0. And my divisor is smaller than my, or excuse me, my remainder is smaller than my divisor, I am done. So Mapara actually walked 5 4/10 miles. Over here, when we do 20 divided by 4, 4 actually goes perfectly into 20, that's 5. 4 times 5 is 20, subtract. So Nikhil has only walked 5 miles. So read letter A, it says, who walks the greater distance? Mapara or Nikhil? And the answer there would be Mapara. And by how much? Well, he's walked 5 4/10 miles. He's only walked 5. How much more has he walked? 4/10 of a mile. That's why you have to do that division there. All right. Well, that didn't erase. For practice, if you want, you can just try doing these on your own. Really easy. You don't even really need to simplify them. If you want to do the simplifying, switch them back into mixed numbers. That would be awesome. But that's all I got for you today. Just a quick lesson. I'm not assigning any math boxes. So we will start up fresh with the next lesson on Monday. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. I miss you all. Stay safe.